afternoon, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. This is the CBS 42 News at Noon.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the CBS 42 News at Noon. I'm Jamie Langley. Right now, it's a weather-aware day as storms move into our area, and several areas are already dealing with flooding now. Storm Track meteorologist Ashley Gann joins us now from the Weather Center with the first check on a forecast. Ashley, what are you tracking at this point?
Thanks, Jamie. We're really tracking leftover rain, heavy rain at times, but it's not the end of the threat for the day. It has started off on a little noisy start for some and even flooding rain for others. That's why we have the weather aware in place. Let me broad brush the big picture for you first. We'll kind of get into the nooks and crannies here in a moment. See the counties highlighted in yellow in South Mississippi, same with South Alabama. That's where we have tornado watch in place until 8 p.m. tonight. It really is just the southern fringe of the state and not really impacting our viewing area. There are still several storms rolling out of southwest Alabama, though, that I'm keeping a very watchful eye on because remember, watches and warnings, they don't necessarily, just because we have a box on a map doesn't make it a magical line and prevent other areas from being impacted. Okay, very heavy rainfall right now. Anniston, Talladega, down to Sylacauga and to Clanton. The lighter showers are left over in Birmingham now, but look at the heavier rain from Mineral Springs to Maplesville, Brent. All of this is tracking off to the east at this time. Want to show you one example of some of that flooding that we had earlier today. Look at the mailbox in the center of your screen. This rain, actually, this flooding waters came up about halfway on that mailbox there. And actually joining us live from Liberty Park to see how the flooding is doing now, I think there's been some improvements, is reporter James McConaughey. James?
Yeah, Ashley, I'm out here on Heritage Hills Way in Vestavia. You can see behind me here, there is not a lot of water left in the street here anymore. The rain has let up and that water has receded. I believe we do have some video of what it looked like just a short time ago. A resident out here said he was up to his waist in water. He said he was able to clear some debris from the sewer drain and that water has now drained away. With all the rain expected this week, be on the lookout for flooded areas and as always, use caution because it can be very dangerous to walk or drive through. It's always best to take the safe route. When in doubt, just stay out of it. In Vestavia, I'm James McConaughey. Jamie?
All right, James, thank you so much. Right now, you're taking a live look at Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and you can see the crowds already starting to build as Auburn and Oklahoma fans are ready for that Sugar Bowl tonight at the Superdome, that is. Auburn and Oklahoma were busy putting the final touches on their game plans last night. And fans haven't wasted any time in enjoying the sights and sounds of the Big Easy. Well, the game is set to start around 7:30 this evening inside the Superdome. And stay with us for CBS 42 News at 5, 6, and 10. We'll have highlights on the game throughout the evening. And right now, Alabama fans are waking up happy after a big win in Atlanta, and now many are booking their tickets to see the Tide play Clemson in Tampa. So if you're going, we have important information that you need to know. First, tickets are going quickly and they're going to cost you. So far, the cheapest ones have been going for about $750. Now, airfare and hotel costs will also add up quickly, but there are some package deals that may help you cut down on the cost. Now, AAA representatives say that they will be available to book them today, and we've just learned that incoming offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian will assume duties and call plays in the CFP championship game. We have more information and links on our website, WIAT.com. All you have to do is search the keywords Alabama Championship in the search bar. Right now, people in Homewood are facing a new sales tax this year. It's increased from 9% to 10%. The sales tax increase was approved back in October, and city councilors say that money from the sales tax will go toward a $110 million bond. Now, a large portion will go to city schools, with the rest going to city parks and a new public safety building. But some people were concerned that the plan was too vague. City Councilor Peter Wright says that the council even looked at other options. Here's what he has to say about the current plan.
We're not in a position to wait on those legislative changes to give us an opportunity to utilize property tax to meet our needs, which is why we did go ahead and make the move for the sales tax to fund very favorable bond rates.
Well, Councilor Wright says just because the tax rate is officially in effect does not mean that the door is closed on where the money could go. The school system will have an open discussion about its portion of the money, and the city will also have talks about it on January 30th. New at noon, 35 Russian diplomats ordered to leave the United States are now back in Russia. This is video of them landing at the Moscow airport early this morning. Well, that move comes after President Obama expelled the diplomats and ordered new sanctions on Russian spy agencies for alleged hacking during the 2016 presidential election. And speaking of that, President-elect Donald Trump is back at home in New York City after celebrating the holidays in Florida. And Trump will hold meetings this week with the heads of U.S. intelligence agencies. Over the weekend, the president-elect cast more doubt on their conclusion that Russia hackers carried out cyber attacks in the run-up to the U.S. election. Well, Mr. Trump said that he would share what he knows later this week, an apparent reference to his upcoming meetings with U.S. intelligence agencies. But many Republicans and Democrats in Congress think the evidence is conclusive.
Members of the intelligence committees in Congress, Democrats and Republicans, none of us have any question about this. The only one who does, apparently, is Donald Trump.
Well, Mr. Trump also said no computer is safe from hacking, but his comments come the same weekend that President Obama ordered technology upgrades at the White House, including new computers and faster internet service. New at noon, as President Obama spends his final time in the White House, he is set to speak for the last time next week. In a statement today, the president announced that he will give his farewell address to Americans on January 10th, which is next Tuesday. President Obama will not deliver his address from the White House, though, like George W. Bush did in 2009. Instead, he'll give it from Chicago. President Obama says he's following the precedent set by George Washington. The nation's first president penned the first farewell address to the American people over 220 years ago, by the way. Developing right now, Turkey's state-run news agency is reporting that 8 people are being questioned in connection with the deadly New Year's Eve nightclub attack in Istanbul. Now, 39 people, most of them foreigners, were killed in that attack, but police are still looking for the person behind it. New surveillance video shows the gunman shooting at police outside, and then a camera shows him shooting his way into the club. Well, 17,000 police were patrolling the streets on New Year's Eve, and Turkey's deputy prime minister says that police believe they are close to identifying the suspect. A court hearing is set for a lawsuit filed against Governor Robert Bentley. You may remember back in the fall, Ray Lewis filed suit against the governor and several others, including Bentley's former advisor, Rebecca Mason. Well, Lewis claims that he was forced to retire as the head of Bentley's security team because he knew about the alleged affair between the governor and Mason. Well, a Montgomery judge will hear motions in the case on February 15th. Also new at noon today, at least one person has died after a massive apartment fire in Massachusetts. 2 more people are still unaccounted for in that. Well, the flames tore through this 5-story apartment on New Year's Day, and now some residents are having to find another home. Several were hurt as they tried to escape, and 3 had to be rescued. Here's what one man saw as people tried to get out.
When I was looking at the window, so that ladies jumped on the 4th floor. I can't believe it, man. I'm telling you. I still got it right here in my mind.
Well, firefighters also had to demolish one side of the building onto a neighboring home to help get that fire under control. Developing right now, police are investigating an accident involving a train and a car. This happened at 41st Street North and Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard around 4 this morning in Birmingham. Now, we're told no one was in the car when police arrived on the scene. As soon as we learn more information, we'll update you on air and online today. We are working to learn new information about a deadly car crash in Inslee where one person died. That happened on 20th Street, and witnesses on the scene say that the car was going very fast when it ran off the road and hit a tree and a telephone pole. Again, as soon as police release new information about this story, we will update you on air and online. Happening today, convicted Charleston, South Carolina church shooter Dylan Roof is set to have a second hearing to determine if he is competent to stand trial. Today's hearing comes just one day before his sentencing phase is set to start. The 22-year-old killed 9 black parishioners at a Charleston church in June of 2015, and a jury will decide on the death penalty or life in prison. Well, new at noon, the numbers are in, and it was a big year for Cuba. 4 million people visited in 2016, setting a new tourism record. The Ministry of Tourism reports this figure represents a 6% in the forecasted number of tourists to visit the country in 2016. While the 4 million mark for tourists was officially reached on December 30th, and the U.S.-Cuba warming of relations is partially responsible for the record. The Ministry of Tourism says that Europe and North America were the two regions that most contributed to that increase. We have an update to a story we brought you on the CBS 42 Morning News. Montevallo's Streetscape and Bicentennial Kickoff celebration is now rescheduled until tomorrow. It was originally scheduled for this afternoon, but the city leaders made the change due to the threat of severe weather we're experiencing today. So that celebration will be held in the parking lot across from City Hall. Again, it'll be tomorrow from 2 until 4. Still to come on the news at noon, the new year means new goals, including watching what you spend. Next, the tips to make sure that your bank account is right where you want it. You're watching the CBS 42 News at noon. Stay with us.